How's it, everybody? Welcome to the Umpire's Call. My name is Alistair, and in today's episode I will be discussing and reviewing the 2020 Formula 1 World Championship Hungarian Grand Prix that was held just this past weekend at the Hungaroring in Budapest, Hungary. Now, for those of you who have seen my episodes from before, I got rather animated just because, of course, it was the beginning of the season because of the results that also transpired during the course of those races. Well, I have to admit that this weekend was rather mundane compared to the weekends that we've had before at the Austrian and Styrian Grand Prix. If one has to look at the race as a whole, not much really happened. We only had one DNF in Pierre Gasly, who unfortunately seemed to have a rather troubled weekend with his car during the free practice sessions, qualifying sessions, of course, the race in itself. The Alpha Tauri there just didn't seem to be able to clicking and had some problems, I believe, with the engine and or the suspension during the same time. If anything, though, this race was just a bit boring simply because the Mercedes dominated this race. Yes, of course, as we will see just now, they didn't get the 1-2 finish they were hoping for, but the level at which the Mercedes are, and so much further than compared to the other cars, is just unbelievable to see how far they are ahead of everybody else. I mean, for Lewis Hamilton to finish the race in the fashion they did and to have lapped everybody up until Vettel in 6th position is just, I mean, it's not the first time I've ever seen it, but in today's competitive world and with the advances in technology and engineering within Formula 1, it is scary to see that a car can be that much better than everybody else. Of course, we have a look at Max Verstappen, who was quite rightly deserved driver of the day, to finish in 2nd position, having started in 7th. He drove the socks off his Red Bull car. It was clear to see that he did not have the pace to match the Mercedes, but to show what I have said before, just the sheer and utter skill, the fact that I have every reason to believe he's going to be a Formula 1 World Champion in the years to come, to be able to maintain the pace that he did, to hold off Bottas for the entire race, was just absolutely fantastic. And even more impressive when you saw that in the formation lap, just before the formulation lap, when the cars actually got onto the grid, he had a bit of an accident because the track was still a bit wet, went off, and he actually broke, I think, what they call a track rod. It's got to do with the suspension, I think, with in line with the wishbones and the steering column. And what happened is that between the time they got onto the racetrack and before the formation lap at the start of the race, the Red Bull team did this just an absolutely fantastic job of being able to get his car ready for the race. When we actually look at the qualifying itself, then obviously before the race, it was just unbelievable to see that we had Mercedes 1-2, no surprises there, but then to have the Racing Point, Stroll in 3rd, and then Sergio Perez in 4th, and then the Ferraris with Vettel and Leclerc coming up in 5th and 6th, was just incredible to see the sheer pace of the Racing Points in qualifying was just unbelievable. Of course, it didn't transpire that way at the end of the race, but that we'll get to in just a moment. Of course, the Ferraris did a little bit better this weekend, but they are way, way off the pace, and in fact, in every respect, compared to that of course, the Mercedes. Then we're looking at the Red Bulls and, of course, Racing Points. To say that they're the 4th fastest car would be maybe a fair assumption, but I mean, even the McLarens, although they didn't do well this weekend, the McLarens are looking very good for a team that we know only too well when they had the Honda engines, and of course Fernando Alonso was there, had a shambolic championship seasons for the time that, of course, Fernando Alonso was driving for them. So it's unbelievable to see that Ferrari are lacking so much in pace, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board seriously. I mean, not just like we go back and change a few things and bring out a new car. No, they're going to have to start again from scratch and build an entirely new car and an entirely new engine. Not a redeveloped engine, not a re-engineered engine, a completely new engine, because they are lacking in every respect. Top speed, at the end, average speed, cornering speed. Okay, that's got obviously the car's got to be involved with that, but the car itself has got to do much better. It's got to manage the tyres better. I thought Charles Leclerc at the end of the day did a good job, and so did Vettel, when you look at the race in its entirety. But it just absolutely was not great. I think the fact that having a look at the race itself, as we mentioned beforehand, not really much to speak of, but it was just amazing to see that Stroll land up and forth. So if we quickly just appear at the results at the end of the race, we had Hamilton in first, Verstappen in second, with driver of the day, quite rightly so, Bottas in third, Stroll in fourth position, which is just fantastic result for him. I know many people are not fans of him and deserve that Sergio Perez should actually be holding the seat at Racing Point next year and not Vettel, if that is to transpire by the end of this Formula One season. We then had Vettel in fifth, who was an entire lap behind Hamilton. Everybody going down was the same, and then we even got Latifi in 19th position, who was 5 laps behind, although he was suffering some technical issues with his car. And of course, we had Pierre Gasly, who then did not finish at all. Looking at Leclerc, not even in the top 10. Now, I do feel that he went out far too early on the hard set tyres that he did, in which he finished the race, although he did manage it very well with his tyre to obviously ensure that degradation wasn't so severe that he had to change the tyres at the very end. But I was a bit surprised because I thought he would then go on with his hard tyres for the majority of the race, put on a fresh set of probably, well, not soft tyres because Ferraris don't do very well in them, but probably go for the medium tyre, try and get the fastest lap and earn some points. But he was not even able to pass Kevin Magnussen in the Haas for 10th position. Now, if that just doesn't sum up the season so far for, I don't know what else would though. We had Lando Norris in 13th position. Wow. Difficult race for him. Obviously fell to the back of the grid very quickly, but it just didn't work out very well for them at all. The race, like I said, it wasn't very, not that it was a bad race. I definitely would say that I would give it a not out in terms of how the race transpired, because there wasn't much going on though. But with the rain happening in the free practice and the qualifying, the tyre selections in the beginning, and all that just happened at the end of the day, it was a very good race. But I just really can't say much more than that, because it really much didn't transpire, apart from the just absolutely phenomenal race by Hamilton. Now, what Hamilton, of course, has achieved is he has now won 8 races at this particular at this particular race circuit, which means now that he matches Michael Schumacher's record of 8 wins at one racetrack on its own. Of course, Schumacher having 8 victories in France. So there's another record that Hamilton probably has matched, or even will better for the remainder years that he is in Formula One, whether it be another year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. No one really knows at this point in time. I'm just surprised that he hasn't gotten completely bored with Formula One, with the fact that he's just winning so often and so consistently. At this race, he had clear air everywhere he went, apart from when he was, of course, lapping cars. So at the end of the day, if he's around for another season or more than another season, I'd be very surprised, because if I was him, I'd just quite frankly retire altogether, or maybe try another form of motorsport racing like endurance racing that we have seen the likes of Dave Coulthard, Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso and others dip their toe into at the very tail end of their careers in motorsport as a whole. So otherwise, guys, short and sweet video. I just hope that you did enjoy it though. Please remember to hit the like button if you've enjoyed the video you've seen today. Please remember to hit the subscribe button for all future videos that I'll be posting, so you'll be reminded of them in due course. Otherwise, guys, have a good day. Cheers.